everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is the place where I mostly talk about games, movies, TV series and anime, usually reviewing them in order to determine whether they are worth the watch or play. As there are literally an overabundance of content present to watch or to play, I'm just trying to be a guide of sorts to help you filter out the content and find the ones which are actually worth your time investment. So, keeping up with the theme of the series, today we are gonna check out What If Season 2. To anybody unaware, this show is an anthology series by MCU where every episode you get a glimpse of an alternate reality and crazy bizarre situations Marvel characters find themselves in based on how situations and incidents turned out differently in the lore of that universe. Season 1 was an intriguing and fun addition to this genre where I personally enjoyed a good anthology series like Twilight Zone, Black Mirror, American Horror Story. But these are more traditional types of anthologies which are mostly based on horror, sci-fi or thriller categories. Whereas What If shares more common similarities with shows like Love, Death, Robots and Star Wars Visions, who have more of a modern approach towards the genre. If being honest, I enjoyed the original season and thought it was a solid intro of MCU in this segment, and personally have been waiting for a follow-up ever since. So let's take a look on how Season 2 actually turned out to be and if that anticipation was worth it.
Follow me and ponder the question. What if?
Talking about What If Season 2, I'm gonna be upfront and say that I have mixed feelings about the show. And since it is an anthology series, I will be giving a general overview about the episodes to explain my thoughts and opinions on it, avoiding any sort of major spoilers. So, the season starts off with a theme of what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps? You know, the Galactic Corps from Xandar, the ones from the first Guardians movie.
On behalf of the Nova Corps, we'd like to express our profound gratitude for your help in saving Xandar.
So this episode of Nebula working under Nova Corps was a crime thriller drama possessing a vibe which was cyberpunk mixed with space noir in its style of storytelling, where Nebula is investigating a conspiracy against Xandar on a time limit. And although being on a time crunch, the overall pacing of the episode was a little slow. Still, I found it to be interesting, moody and atmospheric, which was a fun entry to start off the season.
Show off.
It's called style. Get some.
Get some. I've got a bandana.
But what followed hereafter felt mostly like fillers, at least until end of episode 5. Don't get me wrong, the episodes did have their own uniqueness on how events transpired, but these variations in storylines felt too close to home with MCU timeline, where it also felt like the settings were not fully utilized to their potential. As here in second episode, you are put in a what if situation where Yondu completes the job he was hired for and delivers Peter Quill to his father Ego. Here we will see what might have happened if Ego would have gotten his hands on Peter when he was young and started his unification plan, where Earth will be defended by an earlier generation of heroes comprising Howard Stark, King T'Chaka, Peggy Carter, Bill Foster, Hank Pym, Captain Marvel, Winter Soldier and Thor. A scenario where it felt like an alternate version of Avengers uniting in the 80s. This wasn't a bad episode by any means, but a good example of an episode not meeting the potential, where the overall episode was good. It just fell short of expectations, as given the premise and characters, it could have been much more than what we were provided with.
You know, for a genius, Stark, you're pretty slow on the take.
The third episode, which is basically a Christmas holiday special, felt a little underwhelming, even after being genuinely funny at times, where Stark/Avenger Tower is being attacked by Justin Hammer during the Christmas Eve when the Avengers are away. So now it's up to Tony's personal security, Happy Hogan, to defend the building and save the Christmas party Die Hard style.
Terrorists on Christmas? What is this, Con Air? No, wait, Under Siege? No. Oh, that's not it. Wait, I know this one.
Hey, John McClane, focus.
This was a fun holiday special which I normally would have liked, but as a what if episode, it fell short, where the entire scenario almost felt like a regular Christmas episode from the main MCU timeline.
Time for me to go and sit on Tony's throne.
I'm not gonna flush if you get my drift.
Oh, yeah, it's Hammer. He's heading for Tony's bathroom.
Now, the fourth episode, on the other hand, I actually liked, where the premise was what if Iron Man never made it back from the portal in first Avengers movie. Instead, fell through the rift and landed on Sakaar. You know the place from Thor Ragnarok, where Grandmaster rules.
Hey! Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Here in this scenario, you will see a tiff between Grandmaster and Tony, which will be resolved in a grand race that felt like a format of wacky races, and aesthetically looked a lot like Race from Spy Kids 3.
Win at any cost.
Oh, right!
This actually was a fun one. Nothing mind-blowing or out of this world, but a genuine, good, engaging, funny episode.
Careful, mate. This guy here does not like to be touched.
Thanks for the tip, Mount Rushmore.
But the fifth episode was probably the weakest one of the season, where the story is basically a continuation of Captain Carter plot from season 1. And here the what if scenario is a weird combination of Black Widow's Red Room fiasco and Hydra Stomper, who is basically like a Winter Soldier to Captain Carter in this universe. This one was dull and slow-paced, with barely anything interesting happening throughout. And the only thing which genuinely sparked my interest was the ending part of episode, which launched the underlying story arc of the series, similar to that of What If Season 1, where characters came together to form Guardians of Multiverse.
I return the heroes to their own worlds, the exact moments they left. Peggy, though, she thought her story was over, but it was only just beginning.
The remaining episodes which come hereafter are genuinely fun and engaging, where on 6th episode you will see a new and original Marvel character, Kahori, in a what-if scenario where Tesseract came crashing to this world and landed on Native American lands, in a lake exposing it to cosmic powers, and how this incident will affect Kahori and her people, turning their ordinary lives into a cosmic one. Whereas on 7th episode you will be placed in a what-if scenario where Hela, instead of being prisoned by Odin, was banished to Earth, stripped of her powers just like Thor was in the first Thor movie. But instead of crashing in New Mexico in modern times, Hela is crashed near Wenwu and the Ten Rings in ancient times, creating a very intriguing and interesting scenario, where you will see a sort of Hela's redemption arc.
The Talo are guardians, not fighters.
I guess that's the difference between you and me. Without a fight, I'm no one.
These both episodes were not only interesting and engaging, but genuinely raised a curiosity about the characters in their respective scenarios, which is exactly the reason I am looking forward to watch this anthology series.
I'm afraid the only one who gives orders around these parts is me.
And the final 2 episodes will be the continuation of Captain Carter's story from 5th episode, where you will see a what-if scenario of Avengers in a setting of 1600s time period, which was amazing and pretty true to its theme. And this episode will carry on towards the continuity of Guardians of Multiverse plot from season 1, and ultimately having a conclusive season finale which was a little cheesy but satisfying, engaging and action-packed at the same time.
And so, the captain joined the heroes of 1602 in their desperate bid to save their world.
Sadly, I can't divulge more about the last few episodes without giving away any major spoilers, but I will say that these are fun episodes who have settings and scenarios that properly justifies the premise and theme of this anthology series. And I really shouldn't be saying this, but there is a possibility that the story arc of What If may end up crossing paths with the plots of main MCU universe, which personally got me excited.
What if? I have to try.
The overall plots and settings might have been a bag of mixed bunch, but I have to give credit where it's due, and this season the art direction definitely levels up as compared to season 1, not only in terms of cinematography, but also the overall appeal of visual aesthetics, which was beautiful, where a lot of moments felt like wallpaper or screensaver worthy. And here you can also expect the voice performances to be pretty solid, as majority of the voiceovers are done by the actual MCU cast, and the others who subbed in for the remaining also did a great job with their respective performances. What If has been a show which came with endless possibilities for MCU in an anthology format, where Season 1 was a very solid intro to the series which raised expectations, but I personally felt that Season 2 fell short from Season 1, and it would have been a subpar entry if not for the saving grace of latter episodes and finale. It is not a bad season by any means, but without a doubt, this anthology felt like a bag of mixed emotions, where you will feel different opinions about the show based on different scenarios, as some episodes felt like a breath of fresh air and were genuinely amazing, yet at the same time, given the premise of the show, some episodes felt flat and underwhelming. Yet, the only reason I will score this season above average and can recommend it to Marvel fans or people who like anthologies because the show actually has some awesome episodes which resonated with the theme of the series, and even though some episodes were a little underwhelming, the show tried to hide it with an improved animation quality which felt cinematic, alongside solid voiceovers which was done by a majority of MCU counterparts, and an action-packed finale which comes with a promise of further extending the horizon of the series. So folks, that's it from my side today. Thank you for watching the video. Please let me know your thoughts on it. If you have already watched the season, do let me know your experience on the comment section, and also let me know if there are any other movies, series or anime you'd like me to review and figure out if they're actually worth the watch. So don't forget to drop a like, comment your feedbacks, subscribe for more incoming videos, and I'll see you soon in the next one.